So today we're going to be looking at each team's major weakness when it comes to the Western Conference. In this video, I will be looking at what makes a team weak basketball-wise in regards to the on-court play, front office moves, and or coaching. Now, if you haven't seen my Eastern Conference version of this, definitely go check that out because it covers every team in the Eastern Conference. However, in this video, it's going to be a little different. We're only going to cover the top 10 teams in the West, except for number 9. Because as my subs know, look, man, before I do videos on teams, I watch at least 5 games. And look, man, I was struggling. I was struggling to watch Phoenix, Minnesota, and Dallas to an extent because I know that they are all either injured, tanking, or not a serious contender for the playoffs. Now, once again, thanks to all the loyal subscribers for tuning in. Once again, make sure you stick around to the end to hear about the next video topic. And to all the visitors, welcome to the channel. Make sure you click that subscribe button and that bell next to it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Before we get started, I definitely got to apologize for the noise in the background. Probably didn't hear it, but recording in a different spot right now, different situation, just in the middle of 2 places. But to start, we got to talk about one of basketball's storied franchises, man, the LA Lakers. Now, this isn't really an easy team to particularly pinpoint what exactly is the biggest issue because there's a variety for this team. All right, now, one could make the case that the Lakers' young core, their lack of development, has led to them slipping out of the playoff contention despite their good run into mid-season. And others may blame the arrival of LeBron James stifling their development by playing ball-centric basketball. Now, look, man, there's always the coaching to complain about, and even have some saying that the Lakers should just tank due to the lack of benefit of making the playoffs. And let's really talk about what's killing them, all right? Let's keep it a buck. Los Angeles, they have a major issue with the front office and the head coach. Head coach Luke Walton has been working with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball from last year and has not made much progress in figuring out how to help them develop into the all-star pieces everyone believed they could become. Now, Luke Walton does things like pulling Lonzo from the 4th quarter and not playing LeBron at power forward, which will reduce him getting beaten on defense because he could guard slower forwards instead of wings. This is the same Luke Walton who subbed in to coach Golden State and went 39-4, and the year later went 26-56. The year after that, 35-47, and right now it's not even 500 with the addition of LeBron. Now, I know LeBron was injured, but it is what it is. LeBron's been there the most of the year, and they've had the same core from the year before. So, the Lakers, man, they also had a huge issue going on with the Pelicans trade details, man. The boys were looking thirsty, all right? They were looking straight thirsty. My question is this. If Anthony Davis, if they knew he was coming, they knew he was guaranteed coming to LA like it was leaked, everybody knew this, then why in the hell would you feel so desperate to trade for him now, knowing that he will sign there regardless? Now, management, by showing so much desperation to acquire him and news leaking about who's getting traded, they had to know the Lakers' young core was going to be affected in some way, shape, or form. And the Lakers did not handle that situation in the best way for a team to try and keep their team solid in case things fell through. Now, I'm of the mindset that these players should just go harder instead of being tradable players. But in this new generation, these players are a bit coddled. And, they should have known that this would affect playoff contention. Speaking about the Lakers right now, due to team chemistry, and LeBron James, he's not getting any younger, man, and wasting years on his career and not making the playoffs is just a waste. Now, as you guys heard earlier that I'm skipping number 9. The reason I'm skipping the Clippers is because after the Tobias Harris trade, look, man, their intentions are quite clear, and they're gearing up to cash in on some chips this summer, like the New York Knicks. The Sacramento Kings, man, jumping to them now. The Sacramento Kings really been making me happy this season, as I haven't seen the Kings be good since I was in elementary school, man. That was back in like 06. Now, I did a video on them, early in the season, predicting that they may make the playoffs, and they've been proving me right. De'Aaron Fox, man, he's just been an MIP candidate, and Buddy Hield's been playing out of his mind as well. But the Kings, man, look, in order to doing what they've been doing this season, it's primarily due to the fact they've been playing at a high pace, all right? The pace at which they play at is 4th in the league. And early in the season, it was number 1 by far. But however, on offense, man, look, their main issue is a lack of post scoring. It's very disturbing, actually. When I watch the whole game, honestly, I want you to watch a Kings game and count how many times you see their big men score off of lobs and putbacks in comparison to posting people up and slowing down the game. The reason that this is a huge problem is the Kings are not like the Thunder. They don't get a whole bunch of steals and play excellent defense while having high-paced offense. And I remember back in December, I saw a statistic that blew my mind, man. It said, look, the Kings, they were putting up about 25.6% of their shots within the first 7 seconds of the shot clock, which was the highest in the league by far. Far more than, far more than any other team in the league. Now, more than 22% came between 22 and 18 seconds, which just shows they were just running and gunning. They were just putting it up. They had a green light to do it in the first 5 to 10 seconds automatically. Now, while this is all fun and cool to watch, man, Sacramento, they will not be making it past the first round with this playing style because the playoffs are designed to slow the games down. The defenders will close out better. The team's going to run real plays, so playing bad defense will come back to haunt you. Credit to the Kings, though, man, for improving so much and being in the hunt for the playoffs. Now, the Spurs have a major weakness, which is pretty obvious. It's that they don't have a starting point guard. That spot was originally meant for Dejounte Murray. Yo, man, he's a sick defensive guard who was injured in the preseason. I remember I saw that. I hate seeing injuries like that, man. At 21 years of age, this man Murray was the youngest player in NBA history to make the All-Defensive squad. This was major, all right? This was a major issue because after shipping out Tony Parker, the Spurs did that, as a way to kind of just like their last effort to try and keep Kawhi there as a good token of good faith, but it just didn't work. And they brought in DeMar DeRozan, and this was going to make the Spurs, somebody's second-round nightmare. They would have looked scary with that lineup. And instead, this year, they'll probably just be a first-round out to keep it all buck. Now, the Utah Jazz, while I like what they're doing, they must do something about Rudy Gobert's offensive attentiveness. Like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Max Kellerman, I don't really agree with too many of his points, but he had a great point one day. Man said straight up, it's like Rudy literally does what bad defensive players do, but just on offense. And I started looking out for that more, and I was like, real talk. This man, he takes possessions off. I swear, this is why we should not be using stats only, because you have players, I promise you, that the next time you see them and you actually just watch the game, turn stats off, just watch the game, you'll see their real impact. The next time you watch a Utah game, man, tell me if Rudy Gobert is running up the floor to get back on offense the same way that he does on defense. It's like he only wants to play defense, man. It's total opposite. It's weird. Despite his point total, I know it doesn't look like it in terms of his averages. His lack of attendance, many times you'll just catch him watching and not being a part of the actual play. The Jazz also have to figure out if they're going to push Donovan Mitchell to expand on his skill set as well as his defense, because look, man, while he gets buckets, I do see him getting beat a little too often for his athletic ability, and his star stature. Now, Donovan is looked at as the best player, if not second best player on this team, and at times can get goaded into taking a lot of bad shots on a night, as well as him sometimes being unattentive defensively. Now, Utah also needs a wing star. I like Joe Ingles, man. I love seeing his interviews on TNT. I was cracking up the other day when I was watching him with Shaq. But you will not win a championship with that roster with Joe Ingles starting. All right, not right now. It's no disrespect. It just is what it is. Now, the Rockets have the very real issue of CP3, and here's why. It's not the fact that you're afraid to lose him and that it's that it's stressful. It's because you're afraid now that you have to play his minutes a lot less, and you cannot use what CP3 brings to the table, which is leadership. You have to rely on Harden's play style to carry you through in the playoffs, which, look, man, the playoffs, it's not as effective as it is during the regular season. It's just not. Now, look, I give him credit in the regular season. It looks fun. It looks nice to the casual fan, but we all know that's just not going to translate too well to the playoff basketball scene. Now, the Rockets, they have the issue of coming back 1 year later and not having that same edge, that same mojo, because role players like Clint Capella and CP isn't a role player, but role players like Clint Capella and CP3, look, man, they got their money, man. They got their stacks. They signed contract. Last year was contract year. They had the ball out. Now there just isn't that same drive, man. There isn't that same push. I'm not saying they have no passion for the game, but trust me, there's a lot more of a motivating factor when you got like 160, 140 on the line over the next 3 or 4 years. And the Rockets don't look nearly as determined or focused to knock off Golden State specifically this year in a series the way they did last year. Now, the Rockets, the way they play, they have like one style of playing basketball, and that's dangerous for them because when you play a team like Golden State that can outgun you or take it slow and beat you in a half-court set, that's when you'll run into trouble. And the Rockets, they just don't look like they have enough fuel to get the job done this year. Now, no disrespect to the Trailblazers, man. Dame, that's my man, all right? And I like CJ, but this experiment should have been over after last year's playoffs. These two guards can score, but, man, they can be game planned for, as we saw what the Pelicans did to game plan for Dame, which they just trapped him in the corner and cut off his usual passing lanes. All right, CJ and Dame, they can go at anyone bucket for bucket, but they can't guard their lunch. All right, now both guys are a little undersized in comparison to their compatriots in the league that are stars. And really, these guys should have studied Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars tape. Those are two small guards from back in the early 90s, late 80s that really did their thing defensively and lowered down their scoring and won championships. Now, the Blazers rely on Dame to score way too much, all right? And a point guard scoring 26 points per game is usually not realistic for championship aspirations. And that's why when Curry does it, it's amazing. All right, the Trailblazers, they have to stop playing this pseudo Golden State style basketball and create an identity and choose between Dame and CJ before they become the new Washington. All right, you don't want to do that. Big ups to them being fourth in the West, but the writing's on the wall for Portland's playoff hopes. The Denver Nuggets, man, they've been doing this stuff this year that's just point blank awesome. But the major weakness for them is this. Yo, who is going to guard KD? Who will guard PG? If they make it to the finals, who will guard Giannis? Who will guard Kawhi? The Nuggets at the small forward position are lacking in talent, and that's okay. That's okay. They have lots of talent at the guard position, and especially with Joker. Yeah, I know he's Jokic. I got to shout you guys out messing up his name early on. His name is Jokic, but I call him Joker. Looks like this man looking like Arvydas Sabonis 2.0 out here. All right, looking nice. He's definitely an MVP candidate. I have him number 3 on my rankings. The Nuggets, they will definitely be fun to watch in the playoffs this year, especially with that young core. Now, I saved these two teams for last because I swear it's like they're in tandem. They kind of go hand in hand when you explain them. What OKC has been doing this year has been nothing short of spectacular, and I've watched a team who was struggling to find their identity last year finally figure out their personal keys to success, which is defense. With PG-13 playing MVP-level basketball, dropping 47-point triple-doubles, and Russ going, just being extremely generous with the ball. He's been giving it out like it's free food out here, man, and showing a lot of maturity this year. We really have to look at what the potential finals contenders might have as a weakness. Now, I did this last video, and just let me do it again. Russell Westbrook is a potential, and I repeat, a potential weakness for this team because Golden State might try and pick and prod at him, and if he caves, OKC has no shot of winning. OKC cannot afford to lose Westbrook, resorting to his old ways and losing that generous touch. They cannot afford him to do that, all right, and go back into his old mode. He's been feeling that generous touch this year, and they cannot afford to have him resort to playing 1v1 basketball. Now, with Golden State, their main weakness is physicality, and here's why. Golden State, while they can play great defense and pass extremely well, their bread and butter is their shooting. All right, that's how they make their stacks. They need to space the floor in order to really get flowing in their offense. And they have the perfect lineup for that, but let me bring this up. Golden State, while they have a more star-studded arsenal than ever before, understand this, their role players are getting older. Iguodala and Livingston, they are not as young as they were like 3-4 years ago. They're already in their 30s. All right, these years of attrition are catching up. All right, understand this. OKC, Philly, Milwaukee, Toronto, no matter what, in both conferences, they will have to meet some physical teams. And that is their kryptonite right there. OKC is extremely long and can bump and grind with the best. Houston isn't anything to sneeze at. Utah plays great team defense and might injure one of Golden State's players, who knows? And that was just the West. In the East, there are 4 teams that match up extremely well defensively with the Warriors that will bump and grind with them the whole night and make life a living hell for them to get that next chip. The Warriors in 2016 had trouble with OKC Thunder, who were constructed similarly to this OKC team, and went 7 games with them. All right, in 2016-2017, they were getting mollywopped, all right, by the Kawhi-led Spurs, which was a defensive team, until Kawhi went down thanks to Zaza Pachulia's shot. And in 2017-2018, went 7 games while, yes, missing Iguodala. I understand that. If they had Iguodala, I think it would have been a 5-game series. But they have shown that they struggle playing physical teams when they went 7 games with the Houston last year. All right, now this is why, look, man, there are 5 teams that legitimately match up well with the Golden State Warriors. And understand that the playoffs will definitely be lit this year. It will be lit this year. One thing is for sure, the NBA has benefited greatly from Golden State dominating in the sense that there has been like a nuclear arms race by other teams to step up their game. They had to step up their game and make some stuff happen, whether it's through trades, the draft, free agent signings. We legitimately have 6 teams on either side that could win the title depending on how things play out. Now, if you like videos like these, definitely subscribe. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, and like as promised, the next video will be an NBA What If on the OKC Thunder. Make sure to look out for it by clicking that bell. And you already know to never be mad at me, but to be mad at yourself for being an underachiever. Play the outro.